Acrimony is a Tyler Perry drama that stars Taraji P. Henson and tells the story of a tumultuous relationship that turned deadly. It sparked a lot of controversies, opinions, and thoughts, and for good reason. And today I'll be dissecting the plot and explaining who was really in the wrong and why the story panned out the way it did. So the story goes that a young, nice, but hot-tempered college student named Melinda meets an aspiring inventor named Robert as they are walking around campus. He bumps into her, making her books fall, and she is livid, screaming at him and calling him out of his name. Later on that day, Robert comes to her dorm room to return some papers that got mixed up between the two. Melinda is reluctant to him at first, but is slightly intrigued by his charm and nice looks. But he introduces himself, and they now know each other. Next, her mother passes away, and he attends the repast. He tells her his sad life story that entails a troubled childhood. Melinda feels sorry for Robert, and even though it's her mom that just passed, they then have intercourse in his RV. Now they are a couple. Robert confides in Melinda about personal and financial issues constantly, but he doesn't do it in an obnoxious, sorry way. He does it in a manipulative, natural way that goes unnoticed by a naive Melinda. Also, since Melinda's mother has passed, she has received a lump sum of money from her mother's will for about a half a million, if I'm not mistaken, in her mother's house. Keep that in mind. As Robert confides in Melinda about his money issues, college fees, and not having a car, she feels sorry for him. And he asks her in a way of not asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, he suggests her to help him financially without saying, "Oh, I need money." Instead, he'd be like, times are really hard right now for being a young black man just trying to come up. And it's like no one understands. I try so hard to come up, but I just keep falling. And I never have any money. I'm sorry if I'm saying too much. You're young, too. You don't have to hear all this, and you don't have to help me with money either. I just love you, and I hope you understand me, and I love that you are willing to listen. You see what I'm saying? He throws the idea of her helping him financially in the conversation without directly just throwing it in her face, and that is how he got her. So she starts helping him financially, buying him a car, yes, a whole car, and helping him with college fees, and this money is coming out of her mother's inheritance. She knows that he has influence on her, but she has been wooed by him at this point. She gave him her virginity as he was the first person she was ever intimate with, and she really loved him. Then, after she bought the car for him, he ghosted her, not picking up her calls, nothing. She can't reach him. So she waits and waits and waits, and still nothing. Eventually, it's nighttime, and she's impatient. So she goes to the RV and hears the moans of another woman. Yes, she is getting cheated on. Robert is cheating on her after she bought him a car with the woman named Donna Wells. And remember this name because she will be very important to the story. Melinda has always had an anger problem. She wasn't the type to just lash out on a random person for no reason or just beat people up spontaneously. She wasn't insane, she was a really nice giving person. But if she was provoked and someone really hurt her and they deserved it and they did her wrong, she would not respond normally and just shrug it off. She would let the anger consume her and react without thinking. And that's what she did. Hearing her boyfriend making love to another woman after all she did for him and how much she loved him sent her into a rage, and rightfully so. She ran her car into the RV with the two cheaters in it, then destroyed the car she bought Robert. All of this rage and the crashing of the car made Melinda pass out and she woke up in the hospital. She had so much rage and adrenaline built up in her that she didn't even feel that she had severely injured her female reproductive organs and had to have a hysterectomy, meaning she could no longer bear children. Her sisters were livid and told her to leave Robert, but she loved him so much she stayed. They get married, and for the next 18 years, she supports the couple financially and emotionally, as Robert goes without work because he spends all of his time working on a so-called revolutionary self-charging battery that he strives to sell to venture capitalist company Prescott. He puts all the weight on Melinda's shoulder, and she accepts it because she loves him that much. He ends up destroying Melinda's mother's electrical lines with his battery, and this costs tens of thousands of dollars to repair. Melinda does what she always does and pays the whole fee out of her mother's inheritance. By this time, Melinda's inheritance has ran low as she has been supporting the couple and supporting Robert's goals and dreams for years. He keeps running through her money, then eventually her whole inheritance is gone. Then Robert convinces Melinda to mortgage her mother's house so he can use the money to build a prototype so he can sell his invention to Prescott. Yearning for a meeting, he has been mailing the company and going to the headquarters and constantly being denied every time. He even got banned from the headquarters. Melinda's family runs a catering business and they offered Robert a job. He takes the job, but they warn him that if they miss out on delivering to this client that they want, they will lose a truck contract. And this is their biggest contract yet. Now, remember the woman that Robert cheated on Melinda with about 20 years ago? Her name was Donna Wells. I told y'all to remember her. She is now working as an assistant to Prescott. That's the same company that Robert wants to like do business with. So Robert and Melinda, they go out for lunch and they talk business, and she arranges for Robert to have a meeting with the company he's been waiting for. As Robert is en route to his delivery, now he's working for his sister-in-law. He gets a call from Diana saying Prescott wants to consider his deal. This causes Robert to abandon his delivery job during mid route, and this caused Melinda's sister to lose a major business deal, like the biggest one yet. Prescott offers Robert $800,000 for the design, but Robert wants to license the technology to them instead and declines the offer. And even though this is a hard decision for him because he has been working tremendously hard to get a deal for years and he's went through all of Dinah's money, he does not want to sell all of his rights to his invention away. Melinda is furious at both Robert's declining of Prescott's offer and his interaction with Diana because that's the same woman who slept with her husband and is a part of the reason why she can't have kids. Melinda then, out of all of the stress and turmoil Robert has put her through the years, she has had enough and she files for divorce and moves in with her sister Brenda. Robert moves into a homeless shelter, but Diana finds out and insists that he lives with her. Robert and Diana end up falling for each other again. Then the craziest thing happens. Prescott reconsiders their deal with Robert and offers him an over $100 million deal and allows Robert to keep the intellectual property of the battery. He is overjoyed and filled with happiness. So he comes to Melinda's job to give her a $10 million check and roses. She is blown away that all the work that he had put in and all the work and support that she had given him finally came to fruition. She had worked through so many years to help support this man, and finally his dream came true. So days go by, and Melinda is reminiscing heavily about the man she once loved. They had not been divorced for long, so the feelings that she had for her husband did not just disappear. All the promises he had made to her were ringing in her head, and she was reminded of why she loved him so much. So she goes to his now skyrise extravagant penthouse in a sexy robe with lingerie under it to surprise the man she loves and for them to start from where they left off. But she got the surprise of a lifetime when she doesn't see Robert. She sees Diana. Yes, the woman who was screwing him 20 years ago had took him yet again, and she holds out her hand to show that she is engaged, and now she has a baby bump. She is pregnant with his child. This sends Melinda into sadness and anger as she runs out of the penthouse in embarrassment. Now she is angry. How could he move on so quickly? Why is he not coming back to me? Did I not mean anything to him from the beginning? These are all the thoughts that are going through her head, and she is being driven crazy. Now she wants revenge. Melinda starts stalking the new couple, checking their social media constantly, watching Robert give Diana the life that she wanted and worked hard for. She constantly approached them, even finding Diana's dress shop, and putting acid in her dress for her wedding and destroying it. They then put a restraining order out against Melinda. She was really a total wreck by this point. Robert and Diana ends up getting married and are having their honeymoon. So Melinda sneaks out onto the cruise boat, shoots Robert, makes the crew jump off the cruise and attempts to shoot Diana, but Robert overpowers Melinda and throws her overboard. Melinda returns with an axe to murder Robert, but is pulled to the water by an anchor and dies. Diana finally returns to find a dying and bleeding Robert. Then, now, that's the whole story, and after the death of Melinda and Robert, a lot of people asked who was in the wrong. Like, everybody was like, was it Melinda or Robert who was wrong? And I will give you the answer. Robert is the one that is in the wrong. And I know a lot of people might just look at the movie from a surface level and say Melinda was wrong because she went too far and got violent, which is not okay. No, Melinda shouldn't have stalked them and got violent with attacking Diana and Robert eventually murdering Robert. Like, nobody should be killing anybody. But the human mind, especially a hurt, scorned woman's mind, is not so black and white. Robert put her through mental hell. He took advantage of her when she was vulnerable, when she had just lost her mother, took her virginity, got into her mind, then indirectly manipulated her to dedicate her life to him, caring for him physically, financially, and emotionally. She used her mother's inheritance to buy him a car, and all he did to thank her was ghost her, then have sex with another girl right after. He kept her isolated, and Melinda worked day and night to support his dream of his battery for years, while he never even asked her about her goals, dreams, and aspirations. He ran through all of the money from her dead mother's inheritance, convinced her to mortgage her dead mother's house, made her lose her home, and he didn't even care. It was all about his emotions, his wants, his needs. Then Robert made Melinda's sister lose a trusted business deal and didn't even want to get a job while she slaved at work. Then when she was broken mentally and emotionally by him, she felt forced to divorce him. She didn't want to divorce him. And before y'all say, how's she gonna be mad? She left him. He gave her no choice. Imagine you meet somebody when your mama dies, they take your virginity, they get all up in your head and you fall all in love with them. You start paying their college fees, you literally buy them a whole car, and then they cheat on you, and because of you reacting to some BS they did to you, you lose the ability to have children. They take your money for decades, make you lose your house, turn you away from your family, never support you financially, mentally, and emotionally, and they do this to you for decades. Yeah, you will leave too. And again, I know y'all will say, but he gave her $10 million. She should have been happy with that. It's bigger than money, y'all. It was never about the money, the battery, or any of that. All Melinda wanted Robert to do was love her, care for her, and support her. But he never did. She gave him her all. She gave him all of her money, her virginity, her time, dedication, support in every way, and her love. And now that he basically has unlimited money, all he throws at her is $10 million. No, what is that to him? Then he married the woman that he cheated on her with, that basically caused her to never have children, married her, gave her a child, his love, support, penthouses, yachts, and everything that Melinda had worked for and rightfully deserved. No, it does not work like that. You can't just put Melinda through hell for 20 years, then run to the next woman and give her everything the past wife deserved. I don't care if she divorced you or not. If he really loved and cared for Melinda, he wouldn't have came back with money or a check. He would have came back with his heart and said, I'm sorry for everything I did. I put you through hell and back. I put you through so much that you had to leave, but I still love you, and now I want to give you everything you've been deserving: the money, the lifestyle, the marriage you worked for, me, the man you gave your all to. I want to give you my heart and spend the rest of my life with you. That is what he should have did. He should have came back and made things right. A check is not going to heal the wound of a broken heart, and that shows how emotionally unavailable, neglectful, and truly selfish Robert was from the jump. If you still not getting my point, I'll put it like this. Let's say if you had an abusive mother as a child, and you loved her so much. She didn't care for you or support you physically, emotionally, mentally, or financially. She put you through hell and didn't care for you at all. But you stay and put up with it because you have no choice and you love her. It's your mother. But eventually the pain is too much, so you run away. Then years pass and your mother is a new person. She is older, more mature, and really has changed the way she treats people. And you are now a teenager, still a child. Let's say your mother has 3 new kids. She gives them the world, love and cares for them, support them in every single way, gives them love, affection, and nurtures them 24/7. She now has so much money and they live very comfortably. And let's say she calls you saying, I like to meet up. And all she does is say, I'm sorry, give you $1,000, roses, and a kiss on the cheek. Wouldn't you feel angry, neglected, and just plain sad? Yes, you would, because you don't just want the money. You want your mother to come back and give you all of the non-monetary things and love that a mother is supposed to give. You would want her to truly make up for all the time, pain, and bad decisions she made, not just a sorry lump sum of money. And that is exactly how Melinda felt. I can go on and on. But Tyler Perry really did a phenomenal job on the writing of this movie, and Taraji did a wonderful job accurately portraying a woman that was too loving and gullible and gave her all to a man, but got nothing in return but a lump sum of cash. In conclusion, we should not judge people, especially women, for how they react to situations that take a toll on their emotions, and just call them dramatic, because the mind is a very tricky place and can go to a very violent, wild places when it is provoked and tormented.